All right. Very good evening to everyone. Welcome to Ivy's bootcamp for this month. And today we are going to work on this month. We are going to work on basically the data on Shark Tank. Everybody is well aware of Shark Tank. You guys know what Shark Tank is all about?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is going to tell me? What is there in Shark Tank? Who's going to explain?
So the whole idea is all about finding new startup ideas and giving them funds so that they can finance themselves and they can establish themselves.
All right, good. So basically, all around the startups, right? Startups asking for funds and they have to show their credibility towards, whether they are going to be making proper use of these funds and taking the business forward. Is it worth for the sharks to invest in this or not? Hold on, just giving the data set once. Okay, sent it in the chat window. And Vaishali, if you have it over with you, the link of the bootcamp, the data set, if you could put it in, send it over here. Otherwise, if you don't, please ask Fahim for the link of the data set, please, and post it over here. Okay, so Shark Tank. So I am going to take you through data visualization using Power BI, right? Let me quickly introduce myself. I see a lot of people that I already know. Chinmoy, try to log in again. So I know a lot of people over here. I recognize you guys by name. Seen you in many boot camps, probably, or some of you are even our students of Ivy. For people who are joining us today, very quickly, I'll introduce myself. My name is Ivy. My name is Ishani, and I'm one of the directors over here at Ivy. Plus, I also train folks on BI tools like Power BI and Tableau. I train people on doing analysis and reporting using Excel. And I do, last part is automation of Excel using VBA. So that's my profile. I am a civil engineer by education, and I did work as a civil engineer for about 6 years. And then I moved to India. I did my master's in US and I moved to India, and then I started working in analytics. So it's been around 15 years in this particular domain. All right. My journey started with Excel, and slowly and gradually things change so much in analytics, and so many new tools keep coming up in analytics that it's fun to learn these tools and implement and see how easy things are now versus if I say 15 years back, to create all these things were not that great, were difficult, not easy at all. Now I can make a dashboard within 1 hour with you guys. So before we start the dashboard, what is the first thing we should be doing?
Looking at the data.
Looking at the data and understanding the data, right? Very, very important to understand what I have and what will I do with this data. So let's look at the data together. I have things like episode number, and there are multiple episodes given over here. In each episodes, there are multiple pitches. Like in episode 1, I've got information of 3 pitches. Episode is 3 pitches, and pretty much I see all the episodes have 3 pitches in it. Different brands are coming. What is their idea that they're trying to sell? That's coming up over here. Which industry do they belong to, right? So we have accessories, we have clothing, cosmetic, entertainment, food and beverages, health, luxury, and others. And then what is the investment amount? If they have any debt, then what is the debt? What is the equity? And these are the sharks, Anupam and Ani, Ashnir, Ashmita, Aman, Piyush, Vinita, and Ghazal. And these are the episodes. So Y and N is depicting, for example, if I take this one, Blue Pine Industries, their idea was frozen momo. They belong to food and beverages. And in this case, only 3 of the sharks said yes, which is Vanita, Aman, and Ashnir. All right. Any questions around the data set?
Not now.
No, ma'am.
Not now. Okay, great. So, what do we want to
Hello,
create out of this data? Yes.
ma'am. I think the data which you have in
Mhm.
the investment amount, for instance, there is ice cream brand Ice Pops Food and Beverages. It's showing that its investment is 10 lakh, but I think it's not 10 lakh, it's 1 crore. And the data which you have it, all the 10 lakhs, that will be 1 crore. I've worked with this data basically from
That's okay. That's okay.
oh, that's
Data is data,
okay.
right?
Okay. I
Yeah,
just
these
thought.
numbers, I got it from my team. I don't know
Oh,
how they got it. So, not really, I never pulled this data out. But, anyways,
okay.
it may be I'll ask my team once again in order to correct these amount. But at the end of the day, analysis would remain like the outcomes might change.
Okay.
Definitely, if the data is not correct, you're absolutely right on that. But I want to show you the use case of how we are going to create a dashboard in Power BI. So
Okay.
that might not affect so much, right? But yes, definitely I'll reach out to my team and understand if what is the current data that where they pull the data, if the data is correct or not. And then if there is a change in the data, then I'll post it.
Okay.
Okay, so Devmali, you said you worked with this data. So tell me, what all did you find in this data set?
So basically, I found that I found various questions in these data. So
Mm-hmm.
which are the countries that have the most startups coming from this data in this Shark Tank? Which are the
Countries, but this is like India Shark Tank data set.
yeah, which are the regions that have the most people coming from in the Shark Tank?
Okay, probably I don't have that data too. I don't have regions in it. So, what you did is exactly the first thing we should be doing after understanding the data is come up with what will I drive from this data. So, let's say we are the people who are trying to see the success of a particular industry in Shark Tank.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would like to see what are the total number of projects
हम
that
बेसिकली
have come.
प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट चेक करेंगे कि एक्चुअली में कौन सा वर्किंग प्रोस्पेक्ट से हमारा जो बिजनेस है वो कितना कैपेबल है अर्निंग पर्पस से और आगे कितना ग्रो करेगा, साथ ही साथ प्रॉफिटेबल है, लॉस मेकिंग होगा या डिफरेंट फील्ड्स में कौन कौन सी ग्रोइंग इंडस्ट्री.
Devansh, we might not be able to go in profit loss and all those things because you really don't have the information on those things, right? So what is happening in the Shark Tank? I'm coming with the thought process that, okay, this is the company I'm running, right? They ask you how much you made and all those things. So there is a company I'm running and I want to now do an expansion. So I'm asking for investments, correct? Now, that all data, typically they speak as a pitch to the sharks, right? How much did I make? What is the projection? And that's the reason I want this much of investment and this is the equity I'm ready to give, right? But unfortunately, in this data set, I don't have those pitches. So we will not be able to find that, right? But yes, we'll work with, first of all, we'll also show the basic understanding of the data, like how many total projects do we have on which we are analyzing this data. What are the total industries that we are working with? Then I would like to see the success of a particular, let's say, industry. How would you find that yes, Kajal? Will I get the data set from your side? I have already put it in the, what do you say? I've already put it in the chat window.
Ma'am, no. I haven't asked this question, ma'am. I have a different question.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, so, ma'am, I am attending this, ma'am, this web, like boot camp because I'll be joining this, data analytics course. So, ma'am, can you just tell me in one line? So, basically, what exactly work I'll be doing as a business analyst?
Kajal, right? Not a good time to ask this question.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. No problem.
Okay, probably towards the end we will
Yeah,
try
sure.
to take
Okay,
it
ma'am.
up.
Fine. Yeah, fine.
But in between data, I
It's okay,
don't
ma'am. I
want
can
to discuss.
understand.
Right?
Understand.
All right.
Good
I
afternoon,
have
ma'am.
yes, Sovik.
Ma'am, I just want to know what is the pitch number in the data set?
Pitch number. Pitch number is nothing but, let me open the data set again. Vaishali, do we have you put up the link for the data?
No, ma'am, I'm just uploading.
Please put it in the Google, this chat window so that I don't have to close my workbook again and again, please.
Yes, sure.
All right, thank you. So pitch number is basically how many pitches have been there. So basically you will see this is a unique number. So 177 companies have come over here and, pitched. All this is unique. So if I go to the brand and I do a quick analysis of is there any brand which has come twice? So I will select the brand and click OK. So there's no duplicate. So these are 177. How many pitches have been there? There have been 177 pitches in this data. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
All right,
Thank you.
perfect. Any other question? Okay. All right, so we were talking about what else we are going to find out. So my question to you is, if I want to understand which industry is doing better in this Shark Tank, how will I find that out? How will I find it out? Which industry is doing better, or let's say which brand did the best in this?
We can apply a count on the yes values for the industries and then see the maximum or which are the higher ones.
Okay. And one more thing, if you have noticed that if there is any, company where all the sharks had said no, right? Their investment amount is 0. Equity is 0. So if all of them are no, pretty much those are the places where the investment was not done. Correct?
Yep.
Right? And the places where the investments are done, the investment amount is written. So even if there was one yes, there might be a little less investment. Where there are more yeses, there were more investment. The investment is coming out from whether the person said yes or no. So if I find out that, okay, if this value of investment is greater than 0, means it got a yes from the sharks.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Otherwise, it did not get it from the sharks. So if I want to find out success rate of an industry, I can find it out. We are putting some tough questions over here for a let's see how much we are able to do, because as soon as function kicks in into Power BI, everything becomes a little slow. So we'll do that. We'll find out the success rate of the industries. Okay. And we will also find out how many projects have been pitched per industry. What else? We can also talk about which project got the highest investment. Yes. Interesting to know. And which industry it belongs to.
Yes, ma'am. And also, if we get a total of the investments and divide it into categories of the industries.
Yes,
like
industry-wise industry-wise investments. Okay. And industry it belongs to. All right, let's get started. I'm stopping right here. If our appetite is more, like everybody is working, then we can probably find out few more things. Let's get started with Power BI. So I hope you guys have Power BI installed. Does the majority have Power BI installed?
Hello.
No, ma'am.
No.
May I add one point?
Nisar, yes, tell me.
Ma'am, actually, and we also want to get which Shark Tank invest more company.
Repeat it once again.
Which Shark invest highest investment?
Yes. We can talk about shark wise. Also, we can do an analysis at which shark has done how much investment and how many. Let's say yeses the person has said to how many businesses. Absolutely.
And which industry they have invest
more interest in? Yep. sharp-wise analysis of investment and industry. Okay. All right. Now, what are we doing in Power BI? Even if you don't have Power BI today, that's fine. I would request that right now just learn the basic concept of how you connect to the data and what all we are doing. These videos are available to you on YouTube as soon as this session ends. Power BI desktop is completely free of cost, so please do not hesitate to download the software, and while looking at the video once again and with the data, try to create the dashboard. Okay, because I believe any tool which you are just looking at a video or someone talking and doing it, it always looks nice and easy. The real pain comes when you try to work with that tool. So anything like, for example, I have worked on Power BI for many years now. So when I am going to work, obviously I know where to go, how to go, and I know the entire way of working. But for a person who's starting today, let's say if this is going to be your first dashboard, you are going to forget steps very soon. So refer to the video, you have the data set, but make sure you download Power BI and then work with the video once again. So what is Power BI? Power BI is a software for creating visualizations, dashboards, reports. Now, why we are using these tools like Power BI and Tableau, where Excel could create the reports? The major difference between Excel and all these tools is, number one, the number of sources that they can connect to versus Excel. Number two, the amount of data that they can churn versus Excel. These are much powerful tools. Second, a lot of AI has been put inside these tools. So things that would have taken us a week and run a regression model on Python and get the answer, we can easily and very nicely do it in Tableau and Power BI, right? So very nice fancy features are there, easy to make visuals are there. So all these things combined together make these tools one of the most sought out tools right now for any company, any industry. And being an analyst, I think, till you don't know how to present your data well, till you don't know how to find an insight or a story from your data, we are incomplete. Our knowledge is incomplete. So today we're going to try and make a very, very basic dashboard. Might not be going into too much of depth, but basic dashboard will create. So this is the very first screen you will get. Now, softwares like Power BI and Tableau are not the databases. They do not store the data. So when you connect to a data, it kind of pulls the data in a memory, keeps it in the cache, and from there they keep working, right? So first thing we need to do is connect to a data set. So we can go to get data from here. It'll open one window which tells us what are the various sources from where we can get the data. Our data source is an Excel workbook. So we are going to click over here and it will help me to go and pick it from my folder. I've saved it as Shark Tank. I'm going to connect with my data. And now it will give me a preview of what the data has. Now, when you connect to a workbook like I have, there may be multiple sheets that are there in a workbook. So that's why no preview is coming over here since I have not selected a sheet. So you will have to select a sheet if it's a workbook and there are multiple worksheets. Even if one is showing up, I have to select it and then it shows me the preview of it, right? Now, there are two things we can do. We can either go to transform or we can go to load. Now, what is the difference between the two? Transform data is where we modify, clean up, create new columns for our work, because not necessary that whatever we have is the only column we'll be utilizing, right? So we want to find out more things from our data. So sometimes, we have to change the structure of the data, create a new column, clean up the data, and so on and so forth. So I will take you for a very small short period of time to transform data. And this screen, what you're looking at is called a Power Query. We'll not go into too much detail of how the screen works. I'll tell you a few things that I would always like to do when I'm in transform data. Number one, I will always check the data type of my columns. Right now it's episode 1, pitch number 1. So episode number, pitch number 1, even though they are numbers, I don't want them to be a number because I don't want anyone to treat it as a column on which I can do a sum or an average. I don't want an average of a pitch number or sum of the episode numbers, right? So these are kind of unique identifiers of a pitch that's there. So I'll turn it into a text. Everything else, ABC means text. So brand is a text, idea is a text, industry is a text, investment is 1, 2, 3, which means it's a number. Debt is a number, equity is a decimal number, so 1.2. And then I have Anupam and all these guys with yes or no. Now, yes and no, can it be converted into something else to make our work a little faster and easier?
Yeah, binary.
Binary. Y is 1, N is no. So how do you convert that? So we can select. I am going to select the first column and I'm going to press the shift key and select the last column. Then right click on it and do replace values. In replace values, I'm going to do it twice. First, I'll say all the Y I want to convert to 1. And then what I want to do is again go back and make all the N's as 0. Just to simplify my work. I don't want to check that it is Y, then I should count it, or if it's N, then I should count it. If it's Y, make it 1. So that when I do a sum of it, I know how many sharks were said yes to a particular project. Or if I want to count how many, Vinita had how many yeses, I can simply do a sum on the number and work with it. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I'll wait for you guys to finish this part. And then what I'm going to do, I'll keep these columns selected, will not leave them. And I'll create a new column where I'll do a sum of on the row level and get the total number of yeses for a particular project. All right, are we done? Done, guys? Anyone who's working along with me, along with the Upasna? Yes, Upasna.
Yeah, I have done till the yes, no replacement.
Okay. Others, who else is working with me? Let me know, guys, who all are working, because based on that only I'll give my pauses, because if not too many people are working, I rather do a lot of things, because as it is, you're not doing hands-on. Okay, now once you've selected this thing, like I said, I would leave it as it is selected, and I'm going to go to add column. Like the name suggests, what it does, it creates a new column. Okay, and what I want to do over here is, why did it?
Ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the first part where before the binary one?
Before
when
the
you
binary
transfer
one.
Yeah. When you transform the data, put the data, and then the first column you mentioned about how to convert into the column part.
Yes, not the column. What I spoke about is how to change the data type.
Yeah, data type. Yes.
Right. So once you see these ABC, these are the data types. So once you click on those, you get a list of which data type you want. The first 2 columns, I made it text.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Strange, it's not allowing me. Oh, I'm wondering why it's not allowing me. So what I was trying to do is add them up. Now, why it's not allowing me to add them up is because of the text. It is all text data type, and definitely I cannot add a text. So what we are going to do is little long process, but we have to convert all these sharks data into a whole number. Okay, once you convert it into a whole number, then you will be able to add them up. Otherwise, we are going to be stuck, and I don't want to work with the text. So I'm just going to convert it into a number. Just keep watching my screen, do it later. So again, I'm going and picking up from Anupam all the way to Ghazal. And now you will see under add column, my standard is active. So once I click on the standard, there is a function called add. So what does this column, this working, whatever I'm doing, what it does do, it picks up all the columns and create a new column by working as applying add to all the columns of the same row. So once I click on add, I'm getting 3 over here. So this I'm going to rename as total yes. So they are, so for example, if I wanted to find out what is the maximum number, like say 5, how many projects got equal to 5, right? Because that's the highest one that we have got. So how many projects have got equal to 5, and click OK. So there have been 4 of them which have got 5 yeses. And how many sharks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sharks. So 5 is a good number, right? Out of 6, so 5 people have said yes to a certain project. The selection of column is not properly working. What you need to do is you need to use the shift key. Okay. So what I had done, let's say I selected the first column, press the shift key on your keyboard, don't leave it. Use the arrow key at the bottom and then click on Guzzle. So automatically all of them should be selected. So we're done. What about others? Sagar, are you done? Preetha done. Kavin done.
Can you please go over the step where you are adding another column?
Sure. So what we did, Devlina, we selected the first shark, Anupam, press the shift key on the keyboard, scrolled all the way to Guzzle, selected all the columns. Then on the top, I've got add column, and under add column, there is a tool called standard. What it helps us to do, whatever columns you have selected, it helps us to do a mathematical work on it. So I clicked on add. I want to add all the numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Done. Okay, if you are done with this step, then I would say, I think we have done I'm in 2 minds to do more transformation, but I think let's just get started with the visuals also. So if the time permits, we might come back over here, do a few more transformation. But for now, let's just, in the home tab, you have something called close and apply, which we are going to hit. And what it is going to do is simply come back to my main screen of Power BI. And it is going to make all the changes that I've done in my data set. So this is the screen in which we typically work. This is the place where you create dashboards, where you create your charts. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let me explain you this area. So in this area, there are few things in the left side to understand, few things on the right side to understand. Let's start with the right side. So over here, I've got 3 main panels. Those are data, visualization, and filter. What is there in data? Under data, you will see the data or the table, the database that you've selected or connected to. If I open it, I will be able to see all the columns that we have created over here, right? After that is a visualization. So with the data, which type of chart I want to create is done through the visualization. So I can select, for example, if I want to make a bar chart, I simply click over here and then I can drop the data based on which I want to look. For example, we said, let's talk about the industry and the investment amount, right? So industry is given over here, so I can select it. Investment amount is given, I can select it. And very quickly, it creates a visual for me, which shows me technology in food and beverages have the highest investment, safety and luxury, entertainment. These have the least investment by the sharks. Okay, so that's the work of visualization. We have not started visualization yet. Hold on, don't worry about it. Next comes the filters. Now, what happens in the filter? If I want to put a filter on a particular visual, then we can do it from this part. All right. Today, we might not be working with filters at all. On the left side, I've got 3 different views that you can look at. One is the report view, which is where your visuals, where your dashboards are. Then is the data view. This looks more like Excel, where we can look at the data, which is coming from our data source. And then comes the data models. But today, again, since there's only one table, there is no need of a data model over here at all. So we go back to the report view. Is it clear what are the different sections? Yes, Bhargavi, the video is going to be available instantly on YouTube also, on Ivy's YouTube channel. All right. So we'll get started then. So first thing, always you should have an understanding of what is going to be the layout, where what will be placed. The header should be there for your dashboard. And a color combination is also a must. So I did start a dashboard. I did start it. I'll open it now that I've done the transformation part with you guys. And what I did, I looked at Shark Tank ads or episodes, and I picked a snapshot of where Shark Tank was written. So Shark Tank colors are basically blue and yellow. Correct? Yes, no? Blue and yellow colors? Yes. These are the colors. Don't know if you guys like, what are you talking about? Shark Tank. This is what I pressed. And then I clicked. And then I looked at what I'm going to see, Shark Tank India. And this is the blue and yellow I'm talking about. Yes. So its color are blue and yellow. So what I thought, why not use this blue and yellow? So I had to do multiple things to get the color of what this blue color code is and the yellow color code is. But to give it to you very easily, what you can do to use these color combinations, go to view, and there is a concept called themes. Now, what themes does for us, it applies a color code for our dashboard. And it's always good to make changes in the themes so that I don't have to again and again and manually change the colors. Okay, once you have applied a particular theme, when you picked a particular theme, then those colors get picked automatically. So to give you a simple example, when I was creating that cluster chart, right, in that particular workbook, and I picked industry and investment, you will see this blue color that got picked is exactly the Shark Tank blue, because I've already put it in the theme. Make sense? So how did I do it? Went to view, went to themes. At the bottom, we have something called customize current themes. And if you want to pick these colors in the name and color, theme color, the first one I picked is the Shark Tank blue. And I had to go and fetch its hex code, which took me a little bit time, but it's possible. And the hex code, if you guys want to write it down, is 1981B0. Should I put it in the chat window?
Yes.
I'm just writing it as Shark Tank blue. So many blues are there. Okay. And these are called hex codes, by the way, hex codes. And then we pick this yellow color and copy. This is my Shark Tank yellow. Not that you have to change it right now, but for future, you can just copy paste. And this blue also I got, but this is not Shark Tank blue. So I had to generate some few colors very similar on the same palette. So this is the third blue I wanted to pick. Another blue. So I just had to come over here. Like I said, not necessary that you have to do it right now. You might take a little more time, so that's okay. But just to apply it, how do you apply it? Whatever colors you have, you just click over here. The hex codes are there. Write the hex code or paste the hex code and it works. So this is how you come up with your themes. Got it? Any questions so far?
Ma'am, there are lots of charts like bar diagram, pie chart. So how can we get to know that for which data we have to make that data we have to make a pie chart, for that data we have to make a bar graph. How
So
can we
it's not data driven at all. What it is driven is by what you want to show as the end result. Okay.
Yes.
Like for example, why did I pick a clustered bar chart for this one is because what we are trying to do, that which industry got more investment, which industry got less investments, correct?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you're doing a comparison. So anytime I want to do a comparisons, which are the good chart types, bar chart is a good one, column chart is a good one. These are good chart types to use. Yeah. Now,
Yes,
if I wanted to show success rate for each industry, then I can use 100% bar chart. So it depends on what you want to show. And I could have used a pie or a donut also. But the only issue for me in pie and donut is if there are so many industries, so many colorful, it just looks too bad. So in such case, I'll pick a bar chart. So to answer your question, it's not a very small answer I can give, but just to understand, make you understand it's not data driven. So what kind of data doesn't drive the charts? What do you want to show in the data drives which type of chart we'll use?
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So on the top, let's start with this work now. On the top, I have created a text box, and inside that I've written Shark Tank analysis. Now, how do you insert a text box? You go to insert. Over here, you will see a text box. So once you click on it, it creates this box like this. You can always expand it, resize it basically. And I have put the color, background color and everything. So I'll pick it over here. You can decide, like we are picking this yellow. Now this yellow is in my theme. So I don't have to worry about it again and again. And you can simply click over here and say Shark Tank. And I've increased this to about, I think 24 is what I've kept. Shark Tank analysis. I can select it. I can change the color. I can put it in the middle. And then comes the box. So how do you color the box? The box, when you select on the side, you will see format coming up. And the coloring is a form of part of effects. So we can go ahead and change the color to the blue color. Okay. Like I said, right now, not necessary to create this thing. So you just can create a simple chart, might not be matching the colors, a simple text box to know that you know how to create a title on the top. First thing I've got is total number of pitches. Now these elements that you see over here, these are called cards, single line card or a single value card. Where are cards? Or anytime you want to pick any visualization in Power BI, you are going to pick from here. And this is your card. So once you click on the card, all you have to do is drop one field because this card can show only one value. So it depends what you want to drop. So if I want to find out what were the total number of pitches for this dashboard that we are analyzing, how will we do it? What should I drop here? How will I find which column will help me to find out how many pitches were there? Come on.
Pitch number, the second one.
Pitch number, exactly. I just need to pick the pitch number and drop it over here. Now, pitch number is what? Text or column?
Text.
It's a text. So what it does, it starts to say, okay, do you want to look at the first pitch number? Do you want to look at the second pitch number? But what do we want? We want a count of the pitch number. And just to be double sure that we are not counting something which is already there, I am going to put count distinct. So this is the way I get the total pitches. Right? Then the count of pitch number, this name that's coming up, not very nice to look at. So we can click on the drop down and rename for this visual and name it total pitches. Okay, I'll wait till you finish this card. And once you've created one card and you know the formatting is done, then you should just copy paste and figure out the rest of the cards and finish the rest of the cards. Are we done? You guys can go ahead and if you want to create more cards, once you've understood one card, I think it should be understandable how to create more. And you can copy paste. The best part about Power BI is that you can copy paste things. So once I've created one, I just copy paste and create others. And all you have to do is just go and get rid of the field from here and put the new field that you want. So let's put 3 cards, total pitches, number of industries, and the total investment done. Okay. If you're done with one card, let me know so that I can start, move on. One card done at least. Guys, are we done with one card at least? Yep. Kritika done. All right. Okay. Now let's start creating the visuals over here. So we said we want to find out how many projects were pitched per industry and what was the total investment. So how many projects were pitched in the industry and what was the total investment? For both the cases, I think a bar chart would look good since all we are going to do is a comparison. So I'm going to create a bar chart. And like I said, what we want to drop, something in the y-axis, something in the x-axis. So x-axis is what I want to drop is the investment amount, and y-axis I want to drop the industry. So as soon as I do that, it creates this thing, and this is giving me the sum of investments. Okay. Few things, just don't do it with me. Few things in terms of formatting. So first icon that you see in the visualization is for building the visual. The second one is for formatting. Now, what all should we format? The title definitely needs working. I cannot have things like sum of investment amount. So I can go to general. Over here, there is title, and we will just say investment by industry. Easy to read and write, makes more sense. Industry. Now that I've said that it is the investment done by industry, things that I don't need is the title at the bottom, and I don't need it on the side also. So we can go back to our visual. You will see there is x-axis, right? I can turn it off completely. But even if I turn it off, there is sum of investment showing up. So I will just go ahead, and if you go at the bottom, you will see a title. You can turn it off also. Similarly, what you're going to do is create y-axis. In y-axis, I can't turn off the title because I need the name of the industry, but I don't need the title, so I'll turn it off. And another thing that looks good on these kind of visuals is if I'm able to see the numbers along with the, yes, there's a longer bar in technology and food, but what is the number? So these things are called data labels. So if I turn it on, I get the data labels. Like we said, technology and beverages are very close, and we are able to see that over here. Looks good. So entertainment, luxury, safety, sanitary, tourism. Not that these didn't do well. They did not get an investment. Got it, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So similar to how we did investment by industry, if I want to understand how many projects are there by industry, how will we do it? I'm just going to copy paste so that I don't have to redo the formatting part. But what should we put over here? Anyone? Instead of sum of investments, what should I put next to the industry? I want to count in each industry how many pitches were there.
The pitch number, count of pitch
The
number.
pitch number. So we can drop the pitch number. As soon as we drop the pitch number, the count of pitch number comes up over here. So food and beverages and technology, both are doing well. Number of pitches were also high. Technology and investments are also high. So highest is food beverages, followed by technology, and so on and so forth. And I'm just going to go ahead and change the title over here to, instead of saying investment, these are pitches per industry. Okay, so this was the easy part. Let's do one more. And then I think we'll run out of time. How do you find which industry was successful? This is going to be a little more calculation driven. It's not as simple as just dropping something over here. So how would you know which industry did better? Success of an industry in Shark Tank.
We can use functions, right?
Yes, absolutely. Which functions would you use? How will you calculate?
We can do a percentage of number of yes by the number of pitches.
So I don't have like a yes or no. So I will have to create a column called a yes or no kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, what did we decide? That how are we telling overall sales percentage, not the overall sales percentage? So what did we decide? We are saying a project got funded if the investment amount is there. And if the investment amount happens to be 0, then it was because none of the sharks said yes. So these are the ones where everything is a no. Correct? So can we utilize this thing over here? So sometimes like I said, few things would be already created for us and few things we need to create. So over here, this is one of those things we will have to create. So now I'll introduce you to something called a DAX and Power BI. So DAX is what? Think about it as a formulas which we use in Power BI to generate new columns or to calculate, to find some numbers over here. So I am going to go to the column over here and right click. I'm thinking which is the easier way to teach now. Calculated column, or should I go for measure? Let's go for a calculated column. Let's keep it simple. And what is a calculated column? Basically, we are creating a new column for our data, right? Now, you have to understand, I'm trying to simplify for the first time users, but typically in actual real-time projects, as less number of columns you create, that is better. Just write over here, success or failure, right? I'm creating a new column. So once you created a column over here, this place formula bar is showing up. What I wrote, success/failure, is the name of the column that will show up. And now I have to write a formula. What will I write? So I have to check if the investment is greater than 0, then it is successful. Otherwise, it's a failure. So how will we write this? Which function? If function. So we write if function. Like this is a very common function across all tools. If you're users of Excel, you will know this. And there's a logical test. What is a logical test? That we are saying that the investment amount. So as in when you type in, these things would pop up automatically. So let's try to use that. So if the investment amount is greater than 0, then it is a success. Else it is a failure. And success and failure are in double quotes because these are text that I'm trying to return. So if it's greater than 0, then I'm classifying it as successful. Otherwise, I'm classifying it as a failure, and press enter. Okay. Now, how would we like to see it? Now, let's see if I wanted to find out the industry-wise, how many pitches were successful. Okay, industry-wise, how many pitches were successful? So I'm going to copy and paste this once again. I'm killing with this chart today. 3 charts look similar. We might want to do some color coding on it. It's too much. And I don't have space. Okay. All right. Now, what should I drop over here? What I'll drop over here is success and failure as per the and the number of pitches. Let's see what comes over here. Okay. So now what you're able to see is failure is the blue one, success is the yellow one. So it's nice to get to see this thing that in food and beverages, which has the highest number of pitches, it's almost neck to neck. 15 were yes, 16 were no. So 50% success I can see over there. In technology, what is your view? What is your view in technology?
17% success.
More success is there, right? Not 17% success. It's like out of total number of projects pitched, like out of 26 projects pitched, 17 have been successful, right? So ideally, we should have done little more calculations and then got a percentage of success. But this graph gives us a fair idea of which industry is doing well. Food, beverages, and technology continuously is telling us is doing well, because not only it got the highest in terms of investment, not only it got highest in terms of number of pitches, but equal success rate we are also able to see in it. That if I had 31 pitches in food and beverages, at least 50% of them got what do you call it, the investment. And if you talk about technology, I had about 26 total pitches. Out of that, 17 got investment. So that is about 65% success rate. So if I have a startup which is related to technology, chances of me getting a funding is high or low?
High.
It's high, right? Versus health also almost good amount, right? It's 9 and 5. But where we are not doing good is definitely the bottom ones, luxury, entertainment. Over here, it's difficult to say also that these are not going to do well, because if you look at the number of pitches, just one pitch. We really can't make a insight or a story saying one pitch was there, it was unsuccessful. Hence, nobody who is coming from tourism or luxury or entertainment should be pitching here. That would be wrong. And anything else you can see, and it's fascinating.
The transport and cosmetics.
Good catch. Transport and cosmetic, even the number of pitches are less, but there was no in it. People were investing in it, transport and cosmetic, right? So pretty much that is your analysis of this data. What we could have done, a lot of things, like we could have done based on a shark, what is the behavior of a shark, right? Which shark is investing and which shark is investing in which industry. However, there's a problem in how the data is structured. The way the data is structured, I cannot do that analysis easily, because each shark's data is kept in different columns. If this was kept in one single column, we could have done that analysis very easily. Do you want to give me 5 more minutes and I can show it to you? 5 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I won't do it on this sheet. I'll leave this alone. But over here, the way I would have structured the data in order to get a shark-wise analysis, right? So again, when you talk about dashboard, there are multiple ways of looking at the data of the dashboard. What we worked with is industry-wise. So this could be something that I want to understand that, okay, let's say if I have a startup in future and I go in Shark Tank for investment, what are the chances that I will be successful or not? What kind of investments have been there? So the previous dashboard tells me that. But if I'm trying to analyze the shark's behavior, right, towards the pitches, then what I need to do is a little bit change in my data. I will have to convert these columns into one single column called shark. So how do you do it? I'm going to select, go all the way out and select. And there is a concept called unpivoting in Power BI. So that is kept in this header of transform, and you will see unpivoting. What is unpivoting? When the data is kept in a column and we want to analyze that data together. Something which is similar. Why I'm saying it's similar? Because these are all sharks. So sharks, if they're kept in different columns, I really can't analyze them all together. So I need to convert it into a single column, and that's called unpivoting. So once I unpivot the columns, you will see I can name it as shark name. What it has done for me is converted all the shark names in one, and then there is a value that is coming, that is yes or no, whether they approved or not approved. But the downside whenever you do unpivoting is your data increases, right? So where there was only one row for Blue Pine Industries, now there are 8 rows for Blue Pine Industry, because for each shark it is telling it. You understood what is unpivoting?
Yes, ma'am.
People who are looking at this for the first time might hate me. Like, what on earth are you doing? But then, I'll not only learn the tool, but try to learn the business side also of why we are doing all these things. So once I've done this thing, now what is the benefit to me? The benefit to me is I can use this something called slicer. Okay. So I can put a slicer. Slicer is what? Nothing but a filter. So in the slicer, I can put a shark name. Right? So that gives me that if I want to see how is Aman behaving or how much Anupam has said yes, I can find that out. So let's quickly try to see if I put a cluster bar chart and I put the industry and the investment amount. Now you will see very quick observations that I want you to show. This is coming out to be 3.8K technology. If I go back, this is only 541. So how come it became so big number over here? Because something that was supposed to be added once have been added now 8 times. You understand? One row converted into 8 rows. So something which was like say 50 only in one row, now it's 58 times, and that is getting summed. So is that correct? Yes, no. Should I do a sum? Should we do a sum? No, we should do an average on such data set. Okay, so if you've pivoted, make sure we do an averages over here. Right? So investment by industry, cosmetic, what happened? How strange. Suddenly the table changed. Technology 541. Where cosmetic came up. How come? This we'll have to figure out. My pivoting, what happened due to pivoting? Ideally, when I put a average, it should have given me the same output. Okay, I will have to see into this. But the reason we did unpivoting, we'll have to see how bad this data is now. That if I wanted to see where is Anupam investing and something is wrong over here. What is wrong? Investment in industry. How come this is not interacting at all? All right, something went wrong in this one. God knows what. Anyways, let's leave it for some other time, the discussion. What went wrong over here, I'll have to figure out. But this was a concept that if I wanted to do a shark-wise analysis, we had to pivot it so that all the sharks come in one go, and then we can find out everything about the sharks, right? So that's it. Any questions from your side? I'll leave you with this data set. Something, and probably, you know what, I can put a quick note over here as a text box. Every time you do analysis or when you're trying to use dashboard, try to always write some insights out of it. What are the insights we found out of this? Let's write it down. Number 1, technology and and food and beverages have the highest pitches. As well as food and technology has the highest. I'm going to do my spelling mistakes rectifications later. It also has the highest investment. Successful industry is technology. So most of them have been successful, right? Most successful have been which ones? Which have been the most successful?
Technology.
Technology. Why do you say technology is the most successful, by the way? Because it's on the top? No, the success rate is higher for it, right? Yes. So successful industry is technology. Technology, it has got about 65% success rate. Okay, so insights are always good to look at. Always important to look at the insight. Only then your dashboard becomes something that somebody will be looking at, reading it, and understanding what to do with it.
And also we can write no failures in clothing and transport.
Yeah, interesting, right? No failures in transport
and cosmetics.
And cosmetics. All right, perfect. All right, so I hope you enjoyed, and I know it went a little fast. I know it points of it might have been a little confusing, but what we did, just a quick recap, what you learned today through the session was, number one, you knew that there is something called a Power Query in which we can transform the data. Little bit transformations you did over there. Number two, you understood about themes, how you can change the colors of the themes. Number three, we spoke about the basic layout of the charts, why and which type of chart is used in a very brief, and how to create your dashboard title, how to create charts, how to create clustered bar chart, and how to have this area of insight. And the rest of discussion was all on the business side of it to understand or interpretate the data that you're looking at. So I hope you enjoyed your workshop on Shark Tanks. And this is the first class. Getting any participation certificate? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Once you participate on both the days that you can. And people who I know are in this session, I've worked with Power BI. I would love to see your work. Take it up a notch. You understood what all we can do with this data set. It's like great data set to work with. So try to take it up notch. And if you would like to, if you're not a student of Ivy and you would like to connect with me and discuss about this project or any other visualization project that you have, I would love to get connected. I'll just leave my LinkedIn if it comes up. Doesn't want to show up today.
Tomorrow you are going to take or Sarah is going to take?
Tomorrow Pratik is going to take, and all right, Gautam, take care. Just look for me, people who are not part of Ivy and are part of this particular workshop. You can search for me and type in the name of the company, Ivy Professional School. You should be able to find me, get connected with me. And if you want to discuss about what we did today, would love to do that.
Ma'am.
All right. Yes, Kajal. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, can you please answer my question?
What was your question once again? Sorry.
Yeah, ma'am, what exactly a business analyst, or data analyst will be doing?
What we did right now.
I'm just in one line.
Yes, I said what we did right now. So basically, one line answer cannot be there. You also know that.
Okay.
But what a business analyst or a data analyst does is works with the data. And there are two things that we can do with the data. One is we can see what has happened in the past. and get some insights and story out of it. That's what we did today. Or we can talk about what can happen in future. So that's done prediction. So that's done through tools like R and Python and machine learning. Okay. So basically picking up the historical data, churning it and helping to find one second, helping to find some business insight for the data, find a business solution from the data for the business. So that's what an analyst does. Day in and day out, we work with numbers, and you should not only not ETL. ETL is one part of it, but what I'm trying to say is right now, a lot of people are pursuing this industry. A lot of people are becoming aware that this is a very lucrative industry. Jobs are there, recession-proof jobs are there, and so on and so forth. However, what I don't like is that people are only focusing on learning tools. This industry is not run just by your tool knowledge. This industry is run by your business understanding of the data also. Right? Now, simple example, like today what we said, if we would have taken into account this is all blue, means no success. But look at the number, only one pitch was there. So based on one pitch, can I say these industries are bad to pitch? Not at all. So there comes your business understanding of looking at the data. So don't
There was no
use,
investment.
say that again. Even
There
the
was no
investment.
investment.
Yeah, there's no investment because one pitch was there and it failed. But that would be a wrong conclusion to say that it's a bad industry to take to Shark Tank. Make sense?
Correct.
So tools give us outputs, but then an analyst only turns that output into a business story. And that is what an analyst should be doing. Not just creating charts is not our work. Getting insight, getting stories out of it is our work.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one question. After completing Excel and Power BI as a fresher, anyone can get as a data analyst job in the beginning?
Yes. So what we call these guys are called BI analysts or BI consultants. So a lot of companies are hiring right now. Right now, a couple of interviews. One company from Kenya is hiring our students. BT Telecom has a lot of openings. Century Ply has a lot of openings. So a lot of openings at Ivy right now only based on Excel and Power BI or Tableau tools is going on. Gautam, your questions. I'm a person in BCom. Is there a problem in doing data science? Absolutely not. There is no educational background where I will say, okay, if you belong to this educational background, you should not be doing data science. Only way that to judge whether you are going to be a good fit for this industry or not is going to be very simple. Whether you like to work with the data, like right now, we just took data, thought about some questions, transform into some visuals, and got an understanding of the data. So are these kind of things exciting for you, interesting for you? If yes, welcome aboard. Let's start to learn data science. But if these were very tedious things to think, and no, I could not understand why she did that or why she did that, then probably it's not a field that I should be looking at. I hope that answers your question, Gautam. All right, everyone.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I have a question. You were just saying about industry, like which industry would you prefer in learning this, creating charts, creating this Power BI, using this.
Everywhere.
So which industry would you prefer? Which industry would you prefer?
There's no industry per se, because these are the things. The reporting is not anything new for our corporate world. Okay. I'm talking even 30-40 years back. I have been working for what, past 20 years something. Since I started my career till 20 years, I have been constantly doing reporting work. Initially, I was working heavily on Excel. Now we do a lot of dashboarding. So Power BI and Tableau has come into picture. But there is no industry, there is no company which does not have a reporting in it. Okay. And as and when these tools are coming, which is making it easier for any end user to work with the tools, the number of users, the number of applications are increasing. So if you have to ask me which industry is using it, pretty every industry is using it. In fact, like when we do trainings for corporates, our reports also looks like this only. We can't send I'll tell you, like we had sent 10 sheets of Excel to one of my clients. And his answer came like, 10 sheets look good. You worked very hard, but I want a summary. Because I'm not going to go through all the 10 sheets every day when you're sending what's going on in the training for the 10 batches you're taking. You understand my point? So these kind of things are in every industry. Every role demands it now.
Okay. Okay. And coming to the business, like you said, like business insight, to give business insight, we like if I'm working in a company, I as a data analyst, I need to know what business the company is doing. I need to know in and out what the business they are doing, where they can gain profit, or I need to know. That will come with experience. If I just join in a month,
that comes with experience, yes. But as a fresher, right? Let's say if I'll give you my example. I came from a civil engineering background and I entered this industry. My first client was Capgemini, which is purely IT driven. Then I have finance-based clients, I have manufacturing clients, I have FMCG clients, I've got retail clients, I've got all different types of clients now. Now, it's not that I need to know in depth about everything, but yes, a fair idea of when we are working with data for that particular industry, what is important. That I need to know. Like right now, I'm working with Genpact. I'm working with a company called Tesco, which is into retail, and I am working with a few more companies, but both the companies are different type of companies. So when I'm talking about the data, when I'm talking about, okay, what are the KPIs and so on and so forth, you just have to think from an outsider view also. You can think about what is important for the industry. Another thing is, Mohammed, I strongly believe, I don't know why people don't do it, with chat GPT now, even more, it's easier, but you can simply type in KPI, which is key performance indicator of, let's say, retail company, retail industry, or a telecom industry, right? Google will tell you that. It will tell you what is important. Like, for example, what measures the success of a retail? Sales per square feet. If it's very less, then it's a bad thing. If it's more per square feet, very good. Average transactional value. All the companies, let's say the average transactional value is 500. I want to make it 800. So business is working towards that. Am I able to retain my customers or not? So all these things are easily available for you to read as a fresher. Right? But you have to take an initiative that, okay, if these are the kind of companies I want to get into, a basic understanding of what is important to that business from analytics point of view, I should read upon it. I might not be a master in it, but I should read upon it, definitely. Okay, as a fresher, you should read about these industries. As a fresher, when you start working with these tools, your projects should be around these industries. Then your resume becomes concrete, solid. A portfolio has to be there. Then if you start applying for jobs, you will see you will have a better success rate.
Usually, like if we start with one industry, like what I came across the job market, if you start with one industry, they prefer to data analysts from that particular industry itself. Like you had worked on a variety of industries, but sometimes they prefer, okay, you are from this industry. They will prefer a candidate. They'll ask you if you have experience in so and so industry. Yes, then they will.
Not necessary. I have seen, we've been this training for 15 years. I've seen people going from finance to something else. I've seen people who are in geology working in a beverage industry. So two things are there. Yes, if you belong to the same industry and if you get into analytics of the same industry, you have a very big plus point. The plus point is you have in-depth understanding of the industry and now you know how to use the tools on that data. That's a huge plus point. And when you have that, you demand what you are going to get as a salary. You understand? But if you have, let's say, around 3 years of experience in a certain industry, it's not very difficult to shift the industry. But yes, you have to study about the industry, read about the industry, and then get into it and do some projects related to it, right? But when you cross 5, 10 years of working in certain industry, then I will also tell you, no, you can't change your industry anymore, because I can't hire you and put you next to a fresher who has a better industry knowledge than you and you are both an analyst. That can't happen. right, Mohammed? But if you're under 3 years, 3-4 years, I've seen people changing industry left, right, center. No problem, no issue comes. Because typically first one job, I would say, is something that comes your way, you start working. It's might not be your dream job at all. So we do take 1 or 2 jumps to get into our dream companies. I know my first 2 companies were not my dream companies and all. My final, where I exited from a civil engineering career, that was a company I really wanted to work for. Right? So 3 years is experimentation. Then you got to know what you really like, the kind of the role, the kind of industry you want to work with. So that's acceptable.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, guys. You have a good evening, and see you tomorrow for the sequel session on the same data set. So make sure you have the data set stored somewhere, and you're not asking for the data set again. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. See you next month. Bye-bye.